Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. My name is Savannah Playford, the Director of Youth Ministry at Dixon United Methodist Church. Whenever you are watching this, welcome to today's daily devotion. Happy New Year! Well, almost. It's the last day of the year, and when things come to an end, typically there are two different ways that people can respond. One, they look back on the past and see all of the achievements and shortcomings that they have had throughout the year. Or two, they look ahead to the future, the new beginning that is to come, and set new goals and new achievements for themselves. I personally like to look to the future. But anyway, with the new year, people start thinking about resolutions or goals that they want to set for themselves. You might also hear the phrase, new year, new me. And that's fine. It's good to set goals, and you should change your habits. And although it's not specifically mentioned in the Bible, making those changes in your habits are all over the place in the Bible. I'm specifically thinking of the Church of Corinth. You know, the weak people who were surrounded by idolatry, impurity, sin, and constantly struggled with their faith with God. Paul wrote them letters to give them some guidance and instructions on how to get better with God, how to be a little bit more disciplined. Newsflash, it didn't work because Paul had to write them again in 2 Corinthians, and 2 Corinthians has the theme of church discipline and hope. At the end of the letter, though, it says some encouraging things that we all could think about and reflect on as we go into the new year. In 2 Corinthians 13, 5 through 7, Paul says this, "Examine yourselves to see if you are in faith. Test yourselves. Don't you understand that Jesus is in you? Unless, of course, you fail the test. But I hope that you will realize that we do not fail the test. We pray to God so that you don't do anything wrong, not because we want to appear to pass the test, but so that you might do the right thing, even if we appear to fail." The Corinthians were called to take a second to look at themselves, look at their actions, and look at their hearts. Were they acting as true Christ followers? Think of it this way. Every year, you typically go to the doctor and get a checkup on your full body, right? We do this to make sure that everything's in working condition and to take a check and make sure everything's okay. How often do we do that with our spiritual self, though? We always should be looking at ourselves and looking at goals and set those goals, but we cannot create those goals without first examining ourselves, as Paul is telling the Church of Corinth to do. You see, this verse may seem scary because it mentions failure. I mean, no one wants to fail, but let's be honest, it's a part of life. That's the thing, though, that Paul is calling all Christians, specifically the Church of Corinth here, that when we pray to God and we ask Him for help, we don't fail. He will help us get to the end goal in His timing, whenever we need it. So take action this week. How has God shown Himself to you in the past year? How has He been your rock of strength to steady you during all of these unpredicted times? Begin the new year with a clean slate so you can fully embrace all of the blessings that are to come.